welcome back. Today I'm gonna tell you about the synopsis of Alchemy of Soul, Episode 2. Episode 2 of Alchemy of Souls began 20 years ago. After Tuha has given birth, Jiang takes the child to the foot of the royal palace. Through his warrior powers, he blocks the child's gate of energy. This will prevent his son from being able to perform any spells for the entirety of his life. That son, once he comes of age, promises to find someone to open his gate of energy and bring those powers back, and that boy, none other than Chang-uk. Fast forward to the moment inside the royal palace last episode, and Uk offers an elegance. He recognizes that blue glint in her eyes as that of the soul shifter. As they talk, Uk instinctively saves Mudok from Soyul's blade. They keep up the pretense of her being his mate, although she's not exactly thrilled with the accolade. Interestingly, we do learn that the leader of the shadow assassins that attacked them all is actually called Tangju. In the ensuing skirmish, he's taking Naksu's body too. It's here Uk learns that Mudok is actually Naksu, and that only makes him more determined than before to learn from her. She's not so sure, but before she can contemplate this, everyone is gathered at the training center for a compulsory meeting. Whilst there, Pak Jin is convinced that there's a traitor in their midst, someone who helped let the assassin in the previous night. They unveil Quiku, the Jin family heirloom. This trinket can apparently detect sorcery and in particular the soul shifters. They intend to use this to figure out who among them is the soul shifter. The doors are slammed shut, guards stand on watch, and Pak Jin promises that anyone who attempts to escape will be deemed a traitor. With that, a smoky dog protrudes out from this trinket and in its misty form, immediately pounds at Uk. Only it jumps over him and Mudok, finding the shadowy soul shifter. This guy happens to be the mole in their midst, and he managed to fight off a fair amount of soldiers out in the courtyard too. Sporting the familiar blue-gray skin from before, it takes Soyo stepping in with his swords to put an end to this menace. With that, this foe ends up petrified after a swift shot to the belly. In the commotion, Mudok attempts to slip away and find Tanju, but Uk is wise to what she's doing and corners her before she can do this. As the two trade banter, that smoke dog from before happens to be stalking from the rooftops. Chang-uk encourages her to run away, but just before he attacks and strikes Mudok, Uk manages to destroy the Guigu. Uk played dumb, and in the wake of all this, shattered piece of water on the floor, claiming he was just being clumsy. When Pak Jin finds out, he's livid. In fact, he forced Uk into submission, telling him he's not to speak or move in order for him to repent. Mudok watched from the sidelines, wondering why his friend don't just open his gates of energy. Apparently, they're too weak to do that and it's forbidden. As for Mudok, she takes pity on him, realizing he's already repenting enough through not being able to cast spells, and takes off with the amulet from before. Meanwhile, the hierarchy at the palace comes under scrutiny. With Gang Chang off training and Uk physically unable to cast spells, Gozun decided to shift things up. The attack from the soul shifter is the last straw, and he wants to promote Jinmu up to the position of Kwanju in their absence. The thing is, Jinmu is reckless and he's not exactly like among the seasoned. Instead, Pak Jin decided to negotiate a different reward for him. He chooses to burn Naksu's body and keep hold of Naksu's sword for the time being too. However, Uk challenged him, especially after checking out the sword for himself. Jinmu is confident that Uk won't be able to unsheath it, although he does say for now, which piques Jinmu's interest. Jinmu has Naksu's body outside, which Mudok happens to be watching. Ook is there too, and he watched the flames before approaching Mudok after. However, he comes with news that he's found her sword. Ook shows to her and encourages Mudok to pick it up and unsheath it, which she believes will bring back her powers. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and as she picks it up, she's unable to unsheath the blade. As a result, Ook gives up and decided she should go on living like Mudok and be done with her soul-shifting malarkey. Mudok refuses, believing this is hell, and instead takes her sword and jumps into Lake Gyeongcheondeo. When Ook finds out, he hurries down to find her. Only Mudok diving into the water is precisely what she needs to bring back her power, it seems. And under the water, she managed to free the blade. When Mudok returns to the shore, she suddenly collapses just as Ook appears. He takes her to the infirmary and discusses what happened. While they do, news of this reaches the other official who query Ook's action in bringing his mate to the infirmary, wanting to know how bad her injuries were. While they talk, we cut back to Mudok, who poisons Ook with a herbal tea. He's choking and struggling to breathe. When Hoyom shows up, alongside Pak Jin, Mudok tells them there's only one solution. They need to open his gate of energy in order to move the poison and let his powers come back. If not, well, Ook is going to die. Mudok is tortured and strung up by Pak Jin. It's a small price to pay though, as Hoyom decided to open Ook's gate of energy. Mudok stays awake long enough to learn this before scoffing and passing out. This was all deliberate, of course, wanting Ook to have his energy back and be able to conjure spells. When he limps out the room and notices Mudok hanging from a rope, he quickly unbinds her hands and saves her life. In doing so, Mudok calls him her pupil, confirming that she's going to teach him. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye!